Καλησπέρα σε όλους. Ο 32χρονος Anders Behring Breivik οραματίζεται ότι είναι ένας σύγχρονος σταυροφόρος. Επί χρόνια σχεδιάζει την έναρξη ενός πολέμου για τη σωτηρία της Ευρώπης. Εχθροί του δεν είναι μόνο οι Μουσουλμάνοι, αλλά και όσοι υποστηρίζουν την πολυπολιτισμικότητα και ευθύνονται, όπως λέει, για την Ισλαμοποίηση της γυραιάς Υπήρου. Το περασμένο καλοκαίρι, στις 22 Ιουλίου, αποβιβάζεται στο νησί Utøya, λίγο έξω από το Όσλο, και φτάνει στην κατασκήνωση της νεολαίας του κυβερνώντος Εργατικού Κόμματος. Εκεί βρίσκονται περίπου 600 παιδιά, από 14 έως 25 ετών. Στόχος του είναι να σκοτώσει όσα περισσότερα μπορεί. Απόψε στην εμπόλεμη ζώνη, μια εφιαλτική ιστορία ενός πρωτοφανούς μαζικού εγκλήματος που πάγωσε την παγκόσμια κοινή γνώμη και σηματοδότησε το τέλος της Αθωότητας για την νορβηγική κοινωνία.
It's just like a paradise on earth, because everything I can remember from this island is the extreme goodness in everything. We were lucky because it was good weather all the time. People were walking around, there were political workshops, there were also ministers coming. It was just impressive. The people there are more from 15 to 19, young, engaged people that just wanted to make the world a better place.
Never in my mind thought that that could happen.
We didn't react to the first sounds of the bullets. But suddenly I hear people running and screaming, "Run!"
So I couldn't see them all, but the other people around me were just saying that there's a guy who's shot in the eye, there's a guy who's lying in the water, there's so many people bleeding.
And he turned around and pointed the rifle at me. And all I could say was, "Don't shoot."
After half an hour, maybe, all the phone inside the building start ringing, and also the phone I had from another person start ringing. And I just lied, didn't take it, because it says mom or dad or...
That person was dead?
Yes. And all the phone ringed again and again. You have messages, and the whole building was ringing.
My name is Adrian Prekon. I'm 21 years old. I woke up on Friday and it was raining terribly. It was raining pretty bad, and it was mud all over the place. And we were preparing everything for our Prime Minister to come on the next day.
My name is Nicolina Bjergerski, and I'm 21 years old, studying political science and human rights. And apart from that, I'm doing politics in the city council here in Drammen. So I just went up to the camp right after work, and I took the boat at, I think it was 3 or 4 o'clock. And so I was just going to come up a couple hours and then go back.
My name is Ingvild Leren Stensrud. I'm studying media and communication in high school, and I'm 17 years old.
Was it your first time in Utøya?
My fourth. I've been a member of AUF in 4 years.
We were in the information just taking some time just to talk, to inform each other, and we're sitting there, and suddenly Monica, like we call her mother, Utøya, comes in and says something has happened in Oslo.
They were like hiding from, you felt the shock wave, and all of the glass in the store exploded. Then we opened the door and looked out, and shit, what is this? So I hung the camera around my neck and started to try to film it. And then I went up and into where the explosion had been. There was no doubt that this would have been a big explosion.
Hallo! Hallo? Hallo? Noen som trenger hjelp?
It was chaos everywhere. Debris lying on the floor, and things falling from the skies, papers coming down, and smoke, lots of smoke. All the faces on the facades on the buildings was totally destroyed, like splintered. And you heard all the alarms going off.
I was sitting in my office up in the newspaper, about 150 meters away from the epicenter, and we heard that loud bang. As I was looking out, I saw the Prime Minister's office on fire and another office on fire. I was looking down into the streets. I saw people, unconscious in the street, people bleeding and crying and screaming for help. There was a lot of shock in the streets.
When I was getting nearer, what I thought was a doll, because it didn't look like a human being. When I saw that it was really a woman lying there and she was breathing, I tried to figure out what to do, but that wasn't easy straight away, because I got it was too much damage that I really could handle. But I tried to do what I could, and I sat down beside her and touched her and tried to talk to her.
I had then gone back up to the newspaper building. Most of my colleagues, they went down and set up a temporary office a little further down the street. And then, suddenly people started calling us, telling us that something had happened at Utøya, at that camp, that political youth camp. And the people that called in, they were parents and relatives to the youngsters, to the young people at the camp. And as you know, the young people, they had sent text messages to their parents saying that some guy is shooting us. The chance of a terrorist attack happening in Oslo is next to zero. The chance of 2 incidents of that magnitude is zero, unless they are connected.
Ο Μπρέιβικ εκτέλεσε μέσα σε λιγότερο από μια μισή ώρα 69 νέους ανθρώπους και σκότωσε άλλους 8 στη σφοδρότατη έκρηξη της βόμβας που είχε τοποθετήσει νωρίτερα στην καρδιά της νορβηγικής κυβέρνησης στο κέντρο του Όσλο. Αυτή η ασύλληπτη τραγωδία ξεδιπλώνεται μέσα από τις μαρτυρίες αυτών που βρέθηκαν στην νορβηγική πρωτεύουσα τη στιγμή της έκρηξης, αλλά κυρίως μέσα από τις διηγήσεις 3 νέων παιδιών που βρίσκονταν στο νησί, ήρθαν πρόσωπο με τον ίδιο το θάνατο και τον ξεγέλασαν.
Nobody said it loud, but everybody was thinking it loud, that it was just a gas explosion. Something happened in the building, a gas leak exploded. This couldn't be anything worse than that. And I also remember the phone call I had with my mom. So she asked me if I were there. No, I'm on Utøya. Okay, do you want to go home? What do you want to do? And she asked me, and I said, no, I want to stay on the island because this is the safest place to be right now. This is the safest place on earth, actually. And everybody felt that we were safest on the island.
Of course, no one thought that we were going to be next.
And then?
And then I went up to our camp and we just tried to look at our cell phones and watch the news and just follow the situation in Oslo. And suddenly we heard like shootings, like fireworks.
We didn't react to the first sounds of the bullets. But suddenly, as I was moving on to the small shop, I hear people running and screaming, "Run!"
I decided to run inside the house. And I ran inside the small meeting room. And there was a lot of people there. No one understand. We just sense the fear of everyone else. Everybody lies on the floor. And when he start shooting inside the little meeting room, a lot of people get out. But around 10 people was shot before they get out. And I was one of them. And 3 survived.
We ran into the woods, and all we could hear were the bullets hitting the trees around us, and also some people falling as they were running. And nobody wasn't even talking about it, but everybody was so sure that into the water and swim away from the island was the only thing we could do.
I just kept running, and suddenly a boy in front of me, he jumped over a fence because there was the path and it was really steep down to the water. So I just figured that this maybe was a smart thing to do. So I just did the same thing and...
You jumped the fence?
Yeah, and down a steep hill. Then I turned around and suddenly I saw a shelf in the mountain, or a little small cage. So I just figured that that was a smart place to hide.
Did you see him?
No, we just heard his footsteps over our heads because the shelf was approximately 2 meters from the path and down. So we just heard the footsteps.
And we jumped in the water, started swimming. But the thing was that we had run, it's a long distance actually. I was exhausted and the clothes weren't doing anything better, the boots. So I returned back. And as I was returning back, I actually drowned. And as I was walking upwards, exhausted and with my lungs full of water, just coughing up water, I see him 5, 6, 7 meters away from me. He's standing and shooting at the people trying to swim away. And I don't know if I tried to get up unnoticed, but he noticed me since I was the only one there. And he turned around and pointed the rifle at me because he had switched to the rifle at that moment. And all I could say was, "Don't shoot." And looking into the barrel, I was only thinking, I hope he hits me in the head or the heart, so it would pass fast. He didn't shoot me. I don't know why, actually. That's also some of the things that I've been thinking very much of later. I've seen my friends beg for their lives, not being heard. But why he spared me, I don't know. He didn't shoot me.
I was at that time?
At that time. I was the only person there. It was just me and him. And he didn't shoot me.
What was his expression?
It was rock hard expression in his face. His eyes were just cold. Couldn't see anything. The only emotion.
See any emotion?
He did once yell right before he pointed at me. He yelled to the people in the water that he was going to kill us, and that was just right before he pointed at me. And he yelled it so loudly that you could see all the veins in his face just popping up. He turned red, but after that turning back to the stone cold face. Nothing, not one emotion on his face. You would expect that someone that's coming to kill us is running around, is trying to do something, but he never ran from what I saw. He was walking around slowly. Just remember him standing with a pistol in his arm the first time I met him. Was just like nothing. Cold. Bang bang and it's over. I was all alone. I could only hear the shootings and the screams along the side. Every time you heard a scream before and shooting later on, that got quiet. Suddenly a group of people, 25 people, comes to me, and we discuss whether we should swim, whether we should try to find a boat, because we saw the main boat leave, we saw the other boat leave, but I knew that there was still some boats there, some small boats.
Så mannen min gikk ut her på verandaen, og kikket utover. Og da ser han at det ungdommer I vannet som svømmer. I forkant av det så hadde vi også sett noe røyk, for han hadde noen røykbomber også, men det trodde vi var det fyrverkeriet. Han ser en hvit båt, eller vi ser en hvit båt som ror, og det en del som svømmer bak. Dette her ikke bra. Det dårlig vær, det kaldt, det regner. Og så begynner noen å veive med armene midt I vannet, midt mellom brygga og øya, og rope etter hjelp. Og så sier mannen min at de kan jo ikke rope på hjelp hvis det bare tull. Så tok han båtnøkler, for vi har båt liggende her, og løp ned. Og så løp jeg til naboen vår rett ved siden her, for han også har båt, det vet jeg. Og jeg så at det var såpass mange I vannet at mannen min ville ikke klart å få det på alene. Og så kommer det en jente, og hun nå svømmer. Og mannen min har da gått I båten og kjører rundt og skal til å hjelpe henne opp I båten, men hun bare veiver han videre, og vi fikk dratt henne opp på brygga. Og når vi fikk noen pledd og tepper rundt henne, og satt henne I sikkerhet, så begynte hun å fortelle hva som skjedde på Utøya. At det var en mann som var kledd ut som politimann, og som skjøt dem.
At that point, we had no idea what was going on. We had no idea if there even was a shooter there. We only had reports that they were shooting, but that can mean a lot in the news world. So I told my pilot to start circling the island so I can get overview shots, because shots from a helicopter, the overview shots are the best ones. We were really high, we were 200 meters above the island, so it's pretty hard to see with your eye through my camera. I could see that something was going on, I could clearly see that people were swimming away. I could clearly see that something was floating, something was lying on the beaches, but I didn't realize that there were bodies. I thought they were clothes or towels or, yeah, something that they left down there. During that period of zooming in, focusing and zooming out, I eventually have captured the shooter. Even without knowing it, I saw that there were people down there moving, but I had no idea who was who. I couldn't tell that he was apart from the others.
Suddenly I remember it got so quiet. I just could see was people started ducking, people started hiding, and some people started running into the waters. And then he started shooting. He was there. So I remember just all body functions just collapsed. And I felt someone falling over me. And suddenly it got quiet again. When I opened my eyes, I could only see his boots. He was standing right in front of me. And suddenly I felt something warm here. And something that just hit me in the shoulder. It didn't hurt at all, but it was the blast from the gun, the shockwave, the sound that did, that he knew that you were shot.
He was aiming for your head?
Yes.
And he missed?
He missed the head. He was supposed to hit me in the head, but the bullet passed behind and into the neck and just torn up the shoulder here. So I started seeing if I was alive. Yes, I was. I got up, looked around to see where he was. I saw him walking away and started immediately checking out in the water that to see who was alive, who needed help.
I was when it started, just tried to get away, and then a girl was shot and fall over my body. So I lied under her. I understand that I could get away. And then when I was lying on the floor, I was shot in the leg and stray shot in my shoulder and my left thigh.
What'd you do?
Just lie. I couldn't pretend to be dead. Pretend to try to don't breathe. There was a lot of blood on the floor, and I remember Catfish lying in the floor, and in the blood on the floor.
After a while, it got really quiet, and then I managed to look a bit out of the cage, and then I saw a girl who was lying on the way down, and she just had her eyes closed and she didn't move. And some of the other kids said that she's dead, but I really didn't want to realize it.
Did you know her?
Yes, she was from my city, and she was 15 years old the first time she was on the camp. And I got really many text messages on my phone and really many calls, and also from her mother asking if I had seen her daughter. And I didn't know what to answer, because you can't tell a mother that her daughter is just lying
Dead beside me?
dead beside me. No.
So you didn't answer?
No. I just tried to text to my friends and to my family that we need help, and people are just dying around us.
After half an hour, maybe, all the phone inside the building start ringing, and also the phone I had from another person start ringing. And I just lied, didn't take it, because it says mom or dad or...
And that person was there?
Yes. And all the phone ringed again and again. You heard messages, and the whole building was ringing. It was people in the other room beside that was killed. All the phone there's ringed, and in all other rooms.
Different pictures. A face. It's a scream. It's the weather. It's small pictures, and it's strong, still strong. About 250 young people was taken here, up here.
Politibåten begynner å ta inn vann, og folk måtte stoppe. Det var trolig flere ting som...
It didn't take a long time from after that that we saw 3 men in uniforms coming, and they were so heavily armed. Many people started screaming there. They didn't know if there was the real police or if there were the rest of them coming to finish us up.
And then the police come inside our room, checking that it was clear, and then other survivings come and carried us out.
Actually, I didn't think I realized how serious it all was until I got it home, and until I saw the news that it was so many people who were dead.
Nå kan du ikke få noe vann av oss nå. Altså, det kommer et sted hvor det hjelper deg. Det er best bak der.
Det var klokken 8 på morgenen lørdag 23. Juli, hvor det ringte fra politistasjonen, hvor de da opplyste om at siktede ønsket meg som forsvarer. Og for meg var det et spørsmål om, når hele vårt demokrati ble lagt på strekk ved denne terrorhandlingen, om man skulle stå opp for de verdiene vi har, gjennomføre denne saken sånn som vi gjennomfører alle andre rettssaker i Norge, eller om vi ikke skal gjøre det. For meg ble det svaret veldig enkelt. Her det viktigere enn noen gang å holde seg til de grunnverdiene som vi har om demokrati og rettsstatens prinsipper.
Anders Behring Breivik, født 13.2.1979, ble pågrepet av politiet 22. juli 2011. Til tross for at siktede har erkjent de faktiske forhold, har han ikke erkjent straffskyld. Etter det retten forstår, mener siktede at han måtte gjennomføre handlingen for å, sitat, å redde Norge og Vest-Europa fra blant annet kulturmarxisme og muslimsk overtagelse. Sitat slutt.
Ο Μπρέιβικ συνελήφθη χωρίς να προβάλλει την παραμικρή αντίσταση. Μάλιστα, τηλεφώνησε ο ίδιος 2 φορές στην αστυνομία, η οποία άργησε χαρακτηριστικά να επέμβει. Το πλήρωμα του ελικοπτέρου που είχαν στη διάθεσή τους οι ειδικές δυνάμεις έλειπε με άδεια. Η πρώτη βάρκα που χρησιμοποίησαν οι κομάντος για να φτάσουν στο νησί βούλιαξε. Αλλά μιλάμε για την Νορβηγία. Για μια χώρα που δεν είχε κανένα προηγούμενο στο παρελθόν, ούτε ιδιαίτερης εγκληματικότητας, ούτε βέβαια τρομοκρατικών ενεργειών. Μιλάμε για μια κοινωνία ανεκτική και ανοιχτή στη διαφορετικότητα. Λίγες ώρες μετά τη σύλληψή του, οι αρχές ανακαλύπτουν στο διαδίκτυο ένα κείμενο επιβεβαίωση του μίσους και του παραλογισμού που όπλησαν το χέρι του 32χρονου Νορβηγού. Ο Μπρέιβικ παραμένει ακόμα και σήμερα ένα μεγάλο ένιγμα για ψυχολόγους και αναλυτές, ακόμη και για αυτούς που τον συναντούν καθημερινά, όπως ο δικηγόρος και ο ανακριτής του.
My name is Asbjørn. I'm a superintendent at the Oslo Police District. What we see here now through a mirror is our video interview room. This is where we interview our suspects, including the suspect in this particular case. We try to facilitate communication between the suspect and the interviewer.
Where does he sit?
He will then sit on my left side and the interviewer on my right side. In the interview room, it's only the suspect and our interviewer and his defense attorney. One of the major challenges in this case is the amount of information that we need to keep track of.
You keep record of those interrogations?
Absolutely. Everything in here is video recorded.
How many hours of interviews you have with...
So far we've interviewed the suspect for more than 60 hours.
Is he the same in all these interviews? Has he changed from the...
No, I wouldn't say that he has changed. He has, from the beginning, been quite cooperative. He's been quite detailed in his statements regarding his own actions. on that particular day.
Does he show any sign of repentance, of remorse?
No, so far he has shown no sign of remorse.
What is the longest interview you had with him so far?
Around 9 hours, I think.
Was he stable the first time you met him? How was his psychological situation?
Det veldig vanskelig for meg som forsvarer å si noe sikkert om, fordi det fagfolk, psykiatere som må si noe sikkert om. Men han virket rolig, han virket samlet. Men han underlagt nå en grundig psykiatrisk vurdering som skal ta stilling til hans mentale tilstand.
How many times you see him every month, week?
Cirka 3 ganger, 3 besøk hver uke.
What do you discuss with him?
Ja, det forskjellige ting. Det planlegge de avhørene som vi skal ha hos politiet, sørge for at han har det så bra som mulig i fengselet, at han får en soning som verdig, og også planlegge selve rettssaken som kommer opp en gang på nyåret, gå gjennom bevis og snakke med han om handlingene.
Have you seen any change in him from the first day until now, 2 months after the incident?
Nei, svært lite. Han mye den samme personen. Han jo på fullstendig isolasjon, så han møter ingen mennesker. Men han får jo selvfølgelig måltider, mat. Han ute og lufter seg, får luft. Han har en liten treningsrom som han kan benytte. Han har også tilgang til en offline computer som han kan sitte og bruke, slik at han har noe fornuftig å drive tiden med.
How would you describe it?
Hvis man ser bort fra de handlingene som han har gjort, så fremstår han som høflig, som rolig, som samarbeidsvillig.
Does he have a sense of what he has done?
Ja, det et veldig godt spørsmål, og det jo dels et, hva skal vi si, psykiatrisk spørsmål, et fagspørsmål som psykiaterne må ta stilling til. Men det han selv sier at han forstår at det han gjorde var grusomt, men han sier også at det var nødvendig. Derfor har han ikke gitt uttrykk for noe anger, for eksempel, over det han har gjort. Det selvfølgelig veldig vanskelig for oss å forstå, men det det han sier.
Doesn't have any remorse?
Nei, han sier at han ikke har det.
How does he justify this act?
Nei, det som han sier, at han synes det var grusomt, men nødvendig. Fordi etter hans oppfatning så må Europa endres og starte en krig i Europa. Og han ser ting i et 60-års perspektiv. Og i løpet av 60 år så vil mange mennesker bli drept, sier han. Og dette da et lite offer for å forhindre et større offer. Sånn ser han det.
In 1683, the Ottoman Empire's European advances were stopped. And Behring Breivik sees this year as very symbolically important. Now, 2083, it's 400 years since that victory for Europe over the Muslims. And he is saying, we are now in a new battle, and we have 70 years to win this battle. So he's actually saying, if we are not winning within the next 60 to 70 years, Europe will be lost forever. And he's prepared to use any means. He's discussing in his manifesto the acquisition even of nuclear weapons. And his main point is that Norwegian, European culture, Christian culture is being undermined by multicultural society. We are under attack from the Muslim world. There is an ongoing invasion from the Muslim world, and this invasion is being facilitated and even encouraged by the political establishment in most European countries. And for that reason, the political establishment are traitors. This establishment have opened the gates for the invasion, and traitors are a more serious enemy than the invaders themselves. This is one of the interesting parts, but perhaps also one of the most fantastic parts of his manifesto is where he outlines this order of Knights Templar, which is a hierarchical elite organization that will be in the vanguard in the struggle to transform Europe into its ideal shape. I think these ideals, these ideas, was what promoted his actions. It was not an activist looking for an ideology, but this ideology created the kind of violent action that we have seen. There might have been some sort of a meeting, I don't know, this is for the police to investigate, but there is no serious indication whatsoever that such an organization exists. He's not a classical neo-Nazi, he's not a classical fascist. There are some indications that there might be such links. On the other hand, we know that he has links to right-wing extremist groups in other places in Europe. This is what he is writing about, and he has put forward English Defence League as an ideal organization. He would like to have seen it established in Norway. I would say that the most important thing to focus on is the conspiracy theory. When you believe in conspiracy theories, when you believe that there is an enemy that's after you, that you are a victim, then you have started on the process that legitimizes violence. Because if you are a victim of sinister forces, then you are entitled to fight back. This is what Behring Breivik is doing. He says, we are going to expel all Muslims from Europe, and those who won't go, we are going to kill. Period. So this is how he is ending up with envisioning a Holocaust in the future.
He is not a small man. He's a big man. He will take the ruling party. He will not. He will not go out on the street killing some immigrants. That's too low for him.
That's not the solution, huh?
Not only that, but that is not big enough. He will attack the state, the government. Even if he attacked the government building. He didn't attack the mosque. That is too small job for him.
For him, this was an obvious target because it was the Labour Party youth camp. So it was an attack on the Labour Party, the cultural Marxist. It was also an attack on future leaders of Norway. He might have killed someone who could have become prime minister.
My opinion is that he is not psychotic. But that's my opinion. I would describe him what I called in old German psychiatry, fanatic person. He has some ideas, and these ideas are taking over for him, but that is not the only reason for what has happened. I think that the most important way of understanding his behavior, in addition to being